I don't know, like, how apparent this is. Like how smoothly this stream's going. Let's see, there we go. Okay. Stream's finally catching up. So yeah. I'm gonna just take the opening minutes of the stream to air out my thoughts. As of right now, it's been maybe 2 hours since I saw the video that Wargaming Chicago Baltimore released a premium M53 with a burst fire gun.
Battle starts.
Just why? It's bad enough that I already can one-shot. Like, yeah, that's bad enough. I'm annoyed by it. But no, they decided it was best to sell an M53 with a burst fire gun at tier 8. While also having another arty week. Why? Just why? Like, of all the things and of all the times they could do that. Why now? Also doing a dumb thing, because I'm just so ingrained with spite right now. Like, rather than address bugs and fix those, no, let's make a premium burst fire artillery, because that's what people want, right? It's absolutely what people want. Not, you know, not balance changes. Nope, none of that. Also, I'm gonna get rammed to death now. Or not? Okay. Like, just seriously, stop. Wargaming West needs to be stopped.
Enemy cruiser sunk. Our team has taken the lead.
Like, in all seriousness, what are they thinking? Like, what are they doing? Another reskin, this time of a tech tree tank, a a tier lower, and it's artillery. So those things go over really well with the community, right? Yeah, like, to add on to that, I'm just gonna encourage anyone not to buy it, because it should not exist. It should in no way have existed to begin with. Especially not when they have yet to actually do anything about the major bugs. Like, seriously.
Enemy cruiser sunk.
Like, there are so many things. So many things they could have done that would have been okay. That's definitely not one of them. That's not what I wanted to do at all, but okay. I'll do it. Fine. I mean, I could say more about the subject, but after them releasing not only a reskin, or a reskin of a tier 8 tech tree tank, well, a tier 9 tech tree tank at tier 8, but it's an arty,
General quarters.
and it has premium benefits. Because that's what we needed, instead of, you know, fixing major issues like matchmaking. And on top of that, let's distract everyone by having an arty week. Joy. It's great. Let's not actually focus on our problems, let's just delay them by distracting everyone with shiny things. Because that works out so well. It makes the game super fun and enjoyable for everyone involved. And I'm not bitter. At all. As you can tell by the fact that I am starting Warship's Legends, instead of finishing my 65T right now. Yeah, I could legitimately finish up the 65T today, if I was actually playing the game. But, you know, the whole, burst fire artillery thing kind of annoyed me. non-plane ships. At least for now. I might swap it up in a little bit, but, you know, start, at least get a foothold. Why not? Something to do. If anyone decides to tune in while I am playing this, be prepared, because I will be airing a lot of issues about tanks today. Is he gonna ram him? He did indeed ram him. Okay, but getting back on track now. Some things up. I am 100% in support of something like Operation Overhaul. It's like at least something. Like, I would like to see them do at least something positive, because I think they can. It's just a matter of, you know, making them realize, hey, we're not just gonna sit down and accept this.
Our victory is in sight.
It's like, they rely mostly on the players buying things. If the players do not buy things, they realize that they need to do something different. And they've gotten too comfortable with what they've been able to get away with. Because people keep buying the things that they make. Specifically the reskins. And while they do that, they realize that, hey, we can just do this instead of actually taking the time to fix things. So people will be okay with just buying these reskin things instead of constantly calling for us to fix issues. I'm not just gonna gloss over the fact that earlier in the week, well, last week, they had the bug report thread locked. Well, the bug report section on the forums locked. So please explain to me how someone's supposed to report a bug when they can't access the bug reports. Like, explain this to me. Who in their right mind let that go through? Like, just out of curiosity, Who let that happen? And another thing, like, some of you guys might be aware of this, some of you might not. They advertised the +1 -1 and loaded dice at the same time. Only one of those was active. The other one was not. Or at the very least not advertised correctly.
Starts.
Like, I don't know about you, but false advertising is kinda lame. Something that shouldn't really go, like, unnoticed. On top of the fact that they're trying to, like, sweep a lot of things under the rug by making a premium artillery that has burst fire. And if you think I'm done talking about that, you're sorely mistaken. One, anyone that knows me knows that, quite frankly, I despise artillery and the way that it is on console. PCs is not much better, but at least it doesn't smack you in the face for all of your health, while being able to sit at the back of the map in complete safety. I'm going to hammer that point home as much as it takes. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Artillery's been in bad need of a rework for a long time. But, oh, silent. Artillery is inaccurate. I mean, so is a slot machine. It's solely reliant on RNG to do things. But getting that perfect arty shot requires so much skill. Again, it requires as much skill as pulling the arm of a slot machine.
Enemy cruiser destroyed. Our team has taken the lead.
I mean, everybody can get lucky a few times. And it's super fun and engaging to be on the front line playing your tank like you're supposed to play it. Or, you know, better yet, being hull down and getting blasted for all of your health by something you can't see.
Our victory is in sight.
Like, TDs, I get it, like, TDs on console, a lot of the tier 10s still have their 850 alpha, which, my god, they should not have that at all. But I mean, at least they have to look at you to do damage to you. Same thing with, like, the Waffly 100. Should it be in the game in its current state? Absolutely not. Is it? Yep. Is it going anywhere? Probably not. Should it be nerfed? I mean, you nerf it. It's a little change here.
Enemy cruiser sunk.
Honestly, it just needs a round removed from its clip. That's about all you can do to that tank. Because it's not good. It's really not good. It's just kind of broken. And I'm using the term broken in a sense as like, you can't really nerf it, and you can't really buff it without it being like either ridiculously OP or why does this thing even exist? It's a fine line. And PC knew that too when they introduced it, because they just use it as a stopgap for tier 10 until they introduced the grill. Which, by the way, is also terrible on console. Especially since 4.12, where dispersion makes even less sense. That's another thing that I want to sit around and talk about. Dispersion. Before 4.12, things going out of the reticle, so forth. Not super common. They still happen. Not super common. After, you're gonna get at least like one, maybe two every game where it just flies off into nowhere. To which I'm just vastly confused by. Like, there is no reason. Absolutely no reason. For any of that. It's just no reason. I've also distracted myself. Just... Would you be surprised if I said that I'm just full of spite today? Just... the sheer audacity of Wargaming to release a premium artillery and have another RD week immediately after most people's free premium from their anniversary of starting playing the game. So yeah, it's like I have 4 days of premium time from that. And they're having an RD week. You know, the thing that I despise the most in the game. Well, that really just makes you want to play the game, doesn't it? Oh, it doesn't? Wow. What a surprise. I'm just... like, I'll be honest, I'm befuddled. I'm actually befuddled. 'Cause I feel like I gave them too much credit. 'Cause I didn't think they would do something so dumb. And yeah, I guess that's on me. It's definitely on me for doing that. My mistake. I just don't even know what to say. It's actually beyond me right now. It's actually beyond me. I'm just... I'll get my thoughts together eventually. It's just sitting here ruing in spite and disappointment. Disappointment definitely is the correct word for this. I just sit here dumbfounded as to how they make these decisions. So, you know, the average player base isn't going to pay any attention to this. It's mainly just the people who actively look for either more content from people playing the game to, you know, just the people who randomly pop on the forums and lurk. As someone who used to sit on the forums and lurk a lot back when the game like first started, you kind of pick up the general sense of how things are perceived, but you don't get the full effect, if you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna be honest here. I'm gonna be perfectly honest about this. Everything that they've done so far this week has annoyed me to no end. I'm just befuddled. That's all I can say. I'm befuddled. I am befuddled. So I guess it's enough about that. Let me move on before I continue to trip myself up over just pure anguish. Let's talk about Matchmaker. It's like, you know what's great? When you decide to play a tier 8, and you end up being like one of maybe 3 or less tier 8s in a tier 10 game. Sign of a healthy game, right? When most of the player base is either at tier 10 or tier 6. That's a sign of a healthy game, right?
General quarters.
Honestly, my thoughts on how Matchmaker is currently, a change that it really badly needs. It needs to be weighted based on team composition and tank classes instead of platoons. Yes, platoons make a difference. But when you match a tier 8 platoon against a tier 10 platoon, I fail to see how that's enjoyable for anyone. Like, in all seriousness, how do you look at matchmaking in that sense and think, oh, no, it's fine to put these tier 8s against these tier 10s? Seriously? Like, do you seriously fail to see how there's an issue there? Because I'll be honest, while in some cases the tier 8s can hold their own, like, they have to play at such a high level just to outdo the contribution that a tier 10 can do, not to mention the health factor. And don't even get me started on how it tries to compose teams. Like, you will have teams that are made up of all of the heavy tank. Oh, well, that was... I'm dead. I'm dying. Never mind, I actually didn't die there.
Critical engine damage.
But you'll have teams that are made up of mostly heavy tanks against teams that are made up of mostly TDs or, God forbid, mediums. This guy okay? You're like... Is my gun okay? But I just want to know, like, how is it fair and balanced to match up a team of mostly heavy tanks
Torpedoes to starboard.
against mostly TDs?
Enemy heavily damaged.
Like, I just want to know, in what world is that an okay thing?
Our team has taken the lead.
It's gonna be risky. Secondaries. Secondary, please. Thank you.
Enemy destroyer sunk.
Like, before they should have even considered making another premium tank, they should have, for all intents and purposes, fiddled with Matchmaker at least a little bit. Like, at least a tiny bit would have been nice. What do you hope is gonna happen there? Like, seriously. Like, if they're sitting there wondering why more people don't just come and start playing the game, why do they not think of maybe we should make Matchmaker, you know, balanced? To where it's not dividing teams based on 5-man platoons. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but balancing the game based off something that's not, you know, the 5-man platoons doesn't seem like it would be that hard. And it would fix a lot of issues. The other thing would be, hey, you've been introducing new premium tanks. That's cool. How about you update the old premiums? You know, to where they're not horribly outclassed and power creeped. Like, I don't know, something like the OG Type 59. You know. How about showing that tank some love? I don't know, maybe upping the pen of AP. You know, give it a little bit of, just a little bit of love. Another tank I can think of is the KVE-5. Its turret is literally butter. The turret is butter. The Radio Man's hatch is butter. The other R2-D2 is... I mean, you can pin it with most tanks that it can see. Even, like, some tier 7s can pin it now. Like, it is not as good of a tank as it was. It's funny, but would I say it's competitive? No, it's absolutely not competitive. And then you introduce the, let's see, what was it, the Hydra? Probably forgetting the name because I stopped paying attention a long time ago. Which is basically introducing another KV-5, but with the KV-4's gun. And only giving it, what, 20mm more turret armor? Because 20mm makes a whole lot of difference. When it can still be pinned by everything it can see. Specifically because it doesn't have pref matchmaking, so it can see tier 10s, which just laugh at it. Yeah, that's great incentive. Same thing with, like, same thing with, like, the premium, IS-6 they introduced with the Defender's gun. It's like, yeah, it has the Defender's gun, but it has the same problems the IS-6 does. Its armor can be troll, but at the same time, you're gonna get shot at by tier 10s. You're gonna get shot at by tier 10s. Do I need to elaborate on that anymore, or has my point been made? The fact that the IS-6 with preferential matchmaking gets pinned by most of the things it sees, unless they just don't know where to aim. It's like, it's not asking for much to give the old pref tanks a little bit of love. Like, maybe give them a little bit more effective armor, or a little bit better base pin. Just a little something. I mean, honestly, it would just be good to see them do something. Like, for real. I would just like to see Wargaming West do something that wasn't a reskin. Or a premium. It would be really, really nice to just have some balance changes. I mean, even at the very least, I would like to see a tiny buff to the Italians and a revert to the 30s, to the AMX 30s. Honestly, I don't think it's too much to ask for. I really don't.
General quarters.
I'm gonna be totally honest about this. Like, do I think they'll actually do something? Not without a major change, no. Do I think they need a major change? Yes. I'm gonna be completely honest about it. I think there needs to be a major change in wargaming. Because the game that I started playing over 6 years ago and invested a lot of time and resources into, because I enjoyed it, is going down a really dark path. Do I want to say it's going down the similar path as EA took with Anthem? Yes, absolutely. I would say it's taking a very similar turn. They have just sort of disregarded the players. They have introduced more bugs than they've fixed. And they are about as transparent as paint. I'm just gonna let that kind of sink in for a second. Yeah, that's a big thing I'm trying to hit on, is that I wouldn't even be as upset with what Wargaming is currently doing if they were actually transparent. Is it hard for them to be transparent? Apparently. Apparently it is. Is it hard to be transparent? No, absolutely not. It is not hard to be transparent at all. Like the trailer that they dropped for the the burst fire premium artillery today is a perfect example of what not to do to be transparent. There was no warning for this. There's just no warning ahead of time. It's like the day of or the day before. Most things. If you wanted an actual response, or an actual reaction to something as a game developer, would you not try to have that known like a week in advance? Just out of curiosity. But no, apparently this is something that didn't need a whole lot of, forewarning, or apparently much forethought either, because what could go wrong with us introducing a premium artillery that has a unique burst fire mechanic? What could go wrong?
Enemy team has taken the lead. Enemy cruiser foundered. Enemy cruiser destroyed. Enemy cruiser foundered.
Like, just as a serious question. Why would anyone in their right mind want to spend time and effort on a game that has no intention of letting you know about new things until, like, the day of or the day before? Just being real here. Who would do that? Also, I'm really surprised they pulled that out. That was quite the turnabout. As you can probably tell by the fact that I've been ranting non-stop today, me and Wargaming are not on the best of terms. And have not been for quite some time. To put it lightly, saying that I'm upset is a very, very, very big understatement. And at the end of the day, I dislike so much about what they've been doing. In all honesty, back when the game launched on console, they were fairly transparent. The community was being, embraced. People were willing to help newcomers or, beat their faces in, much like on PC. And there was just more of like, I want to say there was more of like a community vibe. And then after some time and some movement, that changed. And transparency dropped to like a non-factor. Things kind of shifted existing to improve and more of existing as a scapegoat. So on and so forth. Now, map rotation is dominated by the console exclusive maps, which, saying that they're not my favorite would be a grave understatement of how much I dislike the console exclusive maps. The war variant maps, which are also kind of meh, and the in bad need of update maps. That also irritates me. It's like, I think on console, out of all the maps that are in the game, I think there are less than 7 that I actually enjoy.
General quarters.
Tanks, on the other hand, I will say, there are tanks I do enjoy. I don't think they are all pathetic. But I'm not going to sit there and say that the balance for tech tree tanks is fine. Because it's definitely not fine. It's like using the, using their age-old strategy of nerfing things into oblivion as soon as they're introduced has gotten quite old. And when I say quite old, I mean it's very much outlived its stay. Like the Italians, for instance. I could have, in all honesty, been fine and agreed with like a 2-second extra load time for shells. 5 seconds though. At that point, you're just better off playing either an autoloader or a single shot. Like, there was legit no reason to nerf them that much. Like, I could see the case for nerfing them. But my god, there was no reason to straight up neuter them. Like, seriously, there was no reason for them to be absolutely butchered like that.
Torpedoes to port. Enemy destroyer foundered.
Could they have been OP? Maybe. Only in the right hands, because, you know, the average player, of course, is just gonna dump the clip and then proceed to just play it like an autoloader, when on PC, they're so much better. Fire, load, and repeat. But no. Console, we have to tack on like a full, like, 5 seconds per shell. Not just in total, but per shell. Like, wargaming, you realize that by adding that much reload time to the tank, that you've basically just made something like the Waffle E100 ridiculous. It's like, when something that has the potential to basically blast a tank for all of its health, and then some, in the matter of like 20 seconds. While also nerfing the alpha and the reload speed of the Italians, which can't outright clip a tank. It's like, I want to drive that point home specifically. They nerfed the load time and the alpha of the Italians before they even hit the live game. Like, I could understand if you actually let them hit the live game and they outperformed everything phenomenally. That would justify a nerf. Nerfing them that hard before they even hit the live game, where they had a chance to prove if they were or not, is just absurd. It's just absolutely absurd. So it's like, not only do they do less damage per shot, but they take longer to load. On top of not doing as much damage. Like, excuse me? Like, why? I just want to know why. Why is that a thing? Should it be a thing? No, absolutely not. It shouldn't be a thing. Like, there really should not be that discussion of, oh, is this an auto-loader or is this a single shot? No, it's an auto-reloader, but why is it worse in every single way than either auto-loader or a single shot? Well, because Wargaming thought it was too strong. But you see, our spreadsheet says that it is competitive. Well, yes, I mean, when the best players in the game are the only ones that are playing the tanks, or vice versa, the absolute worst players in the game are playing the tanks, they're gonna look fine. Same thing with the AMX-30s. Like, either people that were not doing very good in them, or people that were doing insanely well in them were playing them. Specifically the 30B, because there was really no point before of going past the AMX-30. Now there's definitely not a point to go past the AMX-30, or even play the AMX-30. I'm upsetting myself. I'm actually upsetting myself. It's like, just thinking about what we could have, what we did have, and seeing what we have now, it's eye-opening. It's eye-opening. Who knows, maybe I will switch over after this and continue my ranting with actual, you know, tank gameplay. I'm an hour in, and I've almost done what I feel like doing in this for now. So I might as well show what I'm talking about, instead of just getting up in arms. There are a few other things that I would like to see changed with the game, absolutely. Do I expect them to? No. I don't expect those to change at all. So I won't even bother wasting time and energy on them. But at the very least, we can sort of, hopefully convince them to stop doing stupid things like reskinning. And maybe put some time and effort into actually trying to fix matchmaking and things that are genuinely problematic. Still fire. Yep. Oh, and this is dandy. It is time for me to, get out of Dodge. This is gonna be interesting.
Enemy destroyer blown up. Critical engine damage. Problem solved, sir. Enemy destroyer blown up.
Alright. Torpedo beat engaged. Citadels for days. Ooh, there's a citadel. There's another citadel. Citadel. Got it.
Enemy cruiser sunk.
High Cal, too. Actually ended up getting 2 player kills in that one. Nice. So let's see. I did get enough to get the so do that. That's good for now. Let's swap games real quick.